Good evening, FBLA. I'm Zach Sahin, and I'd like to welcome you all to Florida's August webinar. We have a lot in store tonight, and we're ready to give you some information to help you start the school year strong. And now I would like to introduce your officer team. First off, we have the one and only Nathan Walters, your state reporter.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming back to our August webinar.
Next up is the incredible Marvel movie connoisseur, Amanda Gomez, your state parliamentarian.
Hi everyone.
Following that is the nicest guy on the face of this earth, Shady Mina, your state secretary, who unfortunately will not be joining us tonight. Next, we have true Southern charm with Alexandria Brown, your Region 1 Vice President, who unfortunately will not be joining us. After that is your own fashionista, Ashley Harris, your Region 2 Vice President.
Hey guys, sorry my microphone is not the smartest, so it might take me a while.
Next up is our punniest officer who lightens up every room, Zahra Barrow, your Region 4 Vice President.
Hey guys, if you ever need a pun, just ask me.
And last but certainly not least is the man with a shining personality, Jonathan Scotto, your Region 5 Vice President.
Hi everyone.
Before we go any further, the entire state officer team would like to wish you all a fantastic start of the school year. Whether you started it last Wednesday or you're starting it this upcoming week, we want to make sure that you guys have the best year yet, and we're ready to serve you. Tonight's webinar, we're going to be focusing on recruitment. We're going to cover a range of topics that are meant to help you. If you have any questions, jot them down below, and we will answer them in the Q&A section. Now, I would like to welcome our very special guest, the National Secretary, Bruna Tavares.
Hi guys, it's an honor to be here tonight. I'm really excited.
Thank you, Bruna. I know I'm really excited, and I know the rest of the team is, that you're here to tell us more about what the national team has planned. We're now going to move to our first section, which will be led by Ashley Harris, who is going to talk about a potential upcoming award as well as its levels.
Hey guys, so a lot of y'all have heard of probably like the 100 Club. So if any of y'all have been nationals or state, and sometimes you see the people around wearing the little ribbon and it says like the 100 Club. And that's basically if you personally add on 100 new members into your chapter. So a bit of us have been talking, and we were trying to figure out a way to incorporate everyone inside of this kind of tradition that we've been starting. So I came up with the levels. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to have 3 levels for the 100 Club. So there's kind of going to be like a gold, silver, and bronze. So gold, of course, is going to be 100. Silver is going to be 50, and then 25 will be bronze. This is just an easier goal for students to acquire, whether you're in a smaller school, whether you're in a larger school. This is created for all the schools that are out there and all the members to get more involved in the FBLA and show out their talents, but also to gain new membership. That's one of our biggest concerns and goals this year, is to gain new membership in the FBLA and get it more recognized, even bigger. Bigger is better. That's what we're going to be trying to do. So that's our new goal for this year, and I hope all of y'all like it.
Fantastic. Any of the officers have anything to add? No? We'll go ahead and move on to the next thing. Well, myself and Nathan are going to talk a little bit about something coming out at towards the end of this month or very soon. So I'll go ahead and get us started by talking about the Survival Guide. The Survival Guide, it's a toolbook manual of sort that's split into chapters. It covers a wide range of topics, and it will be distributed shortly to both the chapter and district advisors and officers. The first way it'll be distributed is in the form of the email, and the second way it'll be sent to all members through the form of the Google Drive. It's already been split up and put in the Google Drive. It's just going through its final stages of editing. It's split into 10 total chapters, these chapters being about Florida FBLA, activities and events, recruitment, chapter growth, middle level, fundraising and sponsor outreach, community service, national programs, competitions, and your future in this organization. The entire state officer team has been working diligently to make sure that this is perfect and will really help all of you. If you have any questions, again, just jot them down and we'll answer them during the Q&A. Nathan, could you tell us more about the Google Drive now?
Yeah, so something that Zach kind of talked about already, and we've been talking about it for the past, or at the last webinar, is the Google Drive. And basically, this is going to be an area where all members can get additional resources and stay in the loop with everything going on here in the state. And in here, you'll be able to find a calendar with some of the events that the state officer team has planned. an additional copy of some of the newsletters and flyers that will be going out, the state officer team's program of work, Finance Frenzy, which Jonathan's going to be talking about here in a minute, and tons of other projects that we're working on in the state. So basically, it's just really a place where you can get all the resources and be updated all year long. It's going to be released this month, and we're going to be updating it throughout the year.
Incredible job, Nathan. Yep, the Google Drive is going to contain a wide range of things, and it will be updated constantly. So make sure you stay on the lookout. If you have any questions, jot them down, and again, we'll answer them in the Q&A. Jonathan, would you like to tell us more about this special opportunity that Nathan touched on?
Sure. One of the new things that are coming to Florida, and I guess in FBLA and ECTSO in Florida in general, is the required financial literacy course that is a potential bill that might be passed come next year. So we as the state officers decided that we wanted to get involved with that opportunity, and we're planning on working with our state and the rest of the people in Florida FBLA in order to get a financial literacy coursework for Florida FBLA approved by the state, where instead of taking up a course in your school to take the financial literacy, you would just do it through FBLA, and that would give you the course equivalent. One of the really cool things that it's going to be composed of various lessons with videos, PowerPoints, flyers, anything you can really do to maximize your potential in like the organization itself and through your financial literacy. One of the really cool things that I love about Finance Frenzy is the fact that it's new, it's fresh, it's easy for us to use as like students in high school. And it really, you can go from middle school, high school, even PBL officers are interested in using Finance Frenzy in their local chapters. So if you have any questions about Finance Frenzy, I can answer them. I'm pretty sure any of the other officers can, but I'm super excited, and I can say the rest of the team is as well.
Yep, I know that I'm personally really excited to be doing this with Jonathan this year and the rest of the team. We've been working really hard on planning everything for it, and it's great to see that it's going to be moving to the next level. The next thing we'll be talking about is we're going to kickstart the main section of our webinar with recruitment, with Bruna telling us more and delving into what the national team has prepared this year.
So this year's National Officer team is excited to introduce a lot of new initiatives to achieve our objective of increasing membership by 1,000 members by the end of the membership year. We'll be piloting a new marketing initiative where each national officer will work with state officers and advisors to establish more chapters in urban communities. And we'll also be establishing a state-level virtual chapter model and templates for states that wish to start virtual chapters. As always, we're continuing with the Home State Advantage program and have set a goal for each national officer to increase membership by 25 members in their home states. And we've also set a goal to charter or reactivate 400 local chapters by the end of the year by reaching out to inactive chapters and new communities, increasing participation in the Good Neighbor program, and incentivizing chapters to participate in national programs. And then lastly, our National Center was also very excited to launch a new website on Monday. With its new design, we hope it's more accessible to our membership and also more user-friendly. On the homepage, you can find our featured national partners and highlights of our organization. Advisors can now easily access the membership registration login, and members can also more easily access our new resources. The link to the FBLA PBL Marketplace is at the top of the right-hand corner of the screen, and there you can find our donation login pages and contact information for our organization. And at the top of the homepage, you can access more information about FBLA PBL, our divisions, conferences, partners, and sponsors. We hope the new website launch makes it easier for you to elevate your future this year. Reaching any of our objectives and goals won't be possible without all of you and your help and efforts. So we're looking forward to working with Florida FBLA and all local members, chapters, district, and state officers to increase membership. And we look forward to seeing everything that you guys accomplish this year. If your national officers can ever help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us via our emails and social media. We're eager to help you elevate your future this year. And now back to Zach.
Thank you, Bruna. I just want to say the national team is doing an outstanding job so far. You guys are dedicated to the organization, and you're just doing a phenomenal job. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we have some tips of our own, some recruitment tactics to share with you. Amanda, would you like to get us started?
Sure, thank you, Zach. So when people hear the word recruitment, sometimes this can make people freeze. And then they start thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to convince people to join FBLA? And then they start wondering, where do I start? And sometimes this can be an issue for people because some people are shy or some people don't believe that they're creative enough to get the job done. Some people think that recruiting someone to FBLA is as difficult as Luke Skywalker trying to convince Darth Vader to come to the light side of the Force, or Black Widow trying to convince the Hulk to become Bruce Banner again. But no one is going to swing their lightsaber at you if you say the wrong thing, or turn into a giant Green Range monster if they don't like your pitch. Recruiting isn't as difficult as people make it out to be. And today I'm going to share with you guys my 5 keys to successful FBLA recruiting so you can see how to make things happen for your chapter. So my first key is to immediately grab the attention of the person that you're trying to recruit. Think about how you feel when you get a compliment, or the excitement you feel when you find out that someone shares the same interests as you and you guys end up talking about it for a long time. So when recruiting someone, start with a compliment. Something like, hey, I like your shirt today, or hey, your hair looks great today. Flattery is a great way to capture people's attention, and because you're making the person feel good, they'll most likely be willing to listen to what you have to say. If you happen to know something about the person that you're talking to, bring it up. For example, you might say, hey, I heard you talking about the Game of Thrones episode the other day. It was amazing, right? Or you play volleyball, right? How's the team doing this year? Once you show interest in the person that you're trying to recruit and they start responding to you, then you get to be like Hercules and go from 0 to hero in no time flat. And that's what makes a big difference. Recruiting is all about finding that connection with someone and bonding with the person that you're trying to recruit. So my second key to successful FBLA recruitment is before you go out and recruit people you've never met, practice your pitch on your friends. You don't always have to give the perfect speech to the people you know, because they aren't usually judging you for your speech perfection as if you were a member of the US Olympic gymnastics team. But you can bounce ideas off of them and see what seems to work and what doesn't work. After you've worked on your kinks or flaws in your approach, you're ready to go out and meet new people and sell them an FBLA. Also, there's an added bonus that comes with recruiting your friends. If you can sell them an FBLA, and after hearing your recruitment speech a few times, your friends will be able to tell their friends about the club and help recruit more members for you. The third key to recruiting is to create a committee to go visit different classrooms and give a presentation. The best way to go about this is to speak individually to the teachers and ask their permission to borrow a few minutes of their class time to pitch FBLA to their students. Some teachers will say no, and some teachers will say yes. Your FBLA sponsor will probably have to give you passes to get out of the class to do the presentations. But it's like in the movie The Godfather. You're gonna have to make your FBLA advisor an offer they can't refuse. Also, not everyone from the committee has to be a part of every single presentation. You can spread out the work so you don't miss much class time. This task may sound challenging depending on your situation with your teachers, but it is one of the best ways to get new members. For your presentation, you could create a slideshow or show a video about FBLA that is very upbeat and exciting to the students. Then you can go into a brief explanation about all the benefits about FBLA. Make sure you bring your membership applications to pass out and leave a few minutes to answer questions. The fourth key is to creating personalized letters and giving them to specific people that you want to recruit. These letters express why you want them to join. And because you make the letter personalized, it feels like you're going out of your way to specifically recruit that person. Some people like the fact that a club sees potential in them and wants them to join. They'll like it even more when they realize that nobody else in their class got a letter like that. It's like when the Patriots made their big comeback into the Super Bowl. People always get a jolt from unexpected surprises. They'll know for a fact that you think they're worthy of their special effort, and they'll probably at least want to learn more about the club and give it some thought. Finally, my fifth key is to create flyers, posters, and announcements to advertise for FBLA. Advertise constantly, especially before your school's club rush. You want to beat your competitors to the punch before they recruit potential members. Come up with a couple of catchy slogans for the flyers and announcements and change them up every week so your pitch doesn't get boring. Modify the slogans, change the graphics, and highlight something different and interesting about the club in all of your propaganda. For example, one week you might want to promote community service. The next week you might want to highlight all the great travel opportunities FBLA provides. FBLA usually has something for everyone. So get people's attention and make sure everything you think that has value about the club can be seen or heard by anyone who is interested in even one of those things. For example, some people will like to ride dragons in Essos, while other people might want to conquer Westeros. You never know, so try to appeal to everyone. One final piece of advice. Be passionate about FBLA. when you're recruiting members. People feed off of your enthusiasm and get excited about everything you talk about if you're energetic and sincere. If you don't seem excited about FBLA, why would anybody else be? So when you're recruiting, always bring your A game. Thank you so much, and now back to you, Zach.
Thank you, Amanda, for that one-of-a-kind job. That's exactly why we call her the Marvel movie connoisseur, right there. Okay, next up, I know this is going to be hard to carry off of Amanda's brilliant job, but Zahra, you're up talking a little bit about orientations.
All right, hey guys, I'm talking about orientations and club fairs. So just one thing that I really love about orientations and club fairs is direct communication. You're able to speak face-to-face to a member. So you really need to take advantage of that and not just let it slide by. One thing I would say, I have some suggestions for you to ensure that you're able to recruit as many members and get as many members interested during your orientation. So make sure you have a warm and inviting feeling. As Amanda said, if you're warm and inviting, they want to come to your booth, they want to ask questions, they won't feel insecure or scared. You know, if you have that warm, inviting feeling, you're more likely to spark curiosity in a member, and that's what you want to do, because they're just walking by your booth. You have that split second to make a first impression. So it's important that you make them feel like they want to come and join your booth. The next thing I would have to say is dress and act professionally, because we are business leaders. We're not trying to, if you're going to represent FBLA at a booth, you have to make sure you're doing a good job at that. And one thing we are business leaders, so you need to dress and act professionally and know what you're talking about. If you stutter, it's okay. If you don't have the best speaking ability, that's okay. But as long as you're passionate about it, it'll show. So one thing is, make sure you know what you're talking about, know about your club, and it's okay if you don't know an answer. Tell the member, hey, I'll get back to you on that, and then make sure you do that so you can continue your interest and make sure that they continue their involvement in FBLA. The next thing I would say is make sure your booth is informative and it's neat. One thing is, a messy booth won't really attract people. A messy booth reflects badly on FBLA. So make sure you have a neat booth, and make sure you have visuals, like videos, flyers, or posters, especially if you can. A video would be great. A fun video that highlights the best events of your club. And if you can, specifically target it to your school's club so they know what they'll be getting there. But if you can't, you can always use a state or national FBLA video. If you can try and see if you can get one of the officers there. We would love to be able to help you with your orientations and club fairs. But we know that your officers over there will also represent FBLA phenomenally. Another thing I had to say is, when you're answering the questions, please try not to be robotic. If I wanted to know FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America, I would have searched it up on Google. Talk about your own personal experiences. You know, tell them why you love FBLA, because that might be a reason why they learn to love FBLA. So another thing I would say is, in order to attract the members, don't just stand behind the booth, stand in front of them to the side, call them in, and like Amanda said, attract them with either a compliment or something you know about them. Get them wanting to come to your booth. You know, don't just go for the students, go for the parents, because sometimes parents can persuade their students to join certain clubs and activities. Another thing is, seems a bit of bribery, but maybe having a bowl of candy at your booth. You know, when a student goes to grab a piece of candy, don't let them just walk by. Don't let them steal your candy and walk by, because that's not sweet. But what you need to do is go ahead and let them get the candy and then start talking to them. You know, as they grab the candy, slide a flyer into their hand as well. And, you know, start talking about FBLA. Let them know what the club is about. Talk about competitions, fall rally, conferences, BAAs, CSAs, all of that. Let them get a good vibe of FBLA. And then don't just end it at the orientation or club fair. First impressions are important, but they're not the only thing. Keep it going for the rest of the school year. Always check back on your new members so they become recurring members. You don't want them as a one-time members. They had a bad experience and then they're going to tell other people about the bad experience. So don't let a new member, just don't see them one time. Keep seeing them throughout the year, and that should help them become more members, and that not only increases your membership, but it improves it. So yeah, that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Thank you.
Outstanding job. This team, you guys are just the best. I want you guys to know that really quickly before we move on. I'm so honored that I get to work with all of you. Zahra's puns, Amanda's amazing personality, Jonathan, the FBLA guru, Ashley, the fashionista of the group, and Nathan, the sensible guy that always knows the answer. You guys are just incredible. We're now going to move on to the Q&A session where you guys can ask us, the members can ask us questions about anything that you heard tonight or any other questions in general. I'll go ahead and get started by reading them, and then we'll allow the officers the opportunity to answer. So our first question is, in North Carolina, FFA is really big because of agriculture. How can I increase recruitment in my local chapter? I tried using the agribusiness competition to sway them. Any suggestions? Would any of you guys like to go first? Okay, we'll go ahead and let Ashley.
Okay, so I personally know a lot about the FFA and the FBLA in general. That's one of the biggest controversies in my school. Like, those two organizations are always battling it off for activities and contests and just trying to outdo each other. But from a person who's like an officer for both organizations, I understand how both of them can come together. Agribusiness is one of the biggest aspects of it in general. We're trying to teach, yes, people who know a lot about agriculture, but also trying to teach them about the business aspects of it, because you can't have one without the other. You're always going to need someone who can deal with the financial aspects, who can deal with the contracts, who can deal with lawyers, who can deal with all the communication and things like that. FFA and FBLA personally can go together, and they can piggyback off of each other. They need each other in order to bring in members and things like that. Personally, my FFA chapter at my high school has 200 members, and now that I've combined both of our organizations, like, we're partners almost. FBLA is only 100 members behind them, and that's a big jump for my school in general. So I believe if that you try to just go over there and talk with them about the agriculture, but also the business aspect of it, then I really believe that you'll have a great turnout with that.
Thank you, Ashley. Jonathan? Jonathan was next.
So I guess the competitor in my school is HOSA. It's just like, it's Health Professionals of America, and I'm not personally a part of, like, I'm FBLA like all the way, but one of the really important things that, like, we emphasize is that FBLA is a lifetime organization. We're on our 76th year, and I think that, like, that speaks volumes to how much dedication and time has been put into this organization by everyone. And I think that we kind of like hype ourselves up a little bit, have like fun events, play music in the courtyard. Basically, we just have a lot of fun. And I think that we focus on the competitions, but we also make sure that our members are having a good time. I think the one way I sway people to join FBLA, it's all these organizations put together in one. You have the community service, fundraising, competition. So you can have your NHS, you can have all these other organizations, and you're paying the same price, but you're getting so much more. It's not just community service. It's not just an honor society or a CORD. This is, like, for me, like, it's family. And that's the way I say to the people at my chapter. And I think also it shows, like, on your social media, if you're clean, if you're really modern, and you have, like, these really nice posts that people, like, say, wow, that's aesthetically pleasing. I love that. So just also be very vocal and communicate with your people at your school, because like Amanda said, like, you have to be able to say, hey, you look cool, come join me, because I want you to be cool with me. And I think that's really important, that you want people to feel welcomed at the school. And I think that if you open that door for someone, they'll certainly walk through.
Jonathan, you're completely right. Just 100% on the dot. Amanda?
So, I think honestly, Ashley, because like her competitors FFA, she had like the best. I really like the way she explained it. But you know, it all comes down to one of my favorite quotes of all time: "Business is everywhere." Like Ashley said, you know, there's going to be a business aspect to agriculture. There's a business aspect to everything, whether it's art, singing, being a lawyer. You need to know how to handle your business. You need to know how to handle what career you want to take. First of all, for sometimes, you know, your career path changes with whatever you want. Like, I wanted to be a singer when I was 7 years old, and now I want to be a lawyer. I want to be in journalism. So you never know. Sometimes you can try and convince them based on that. Like, you know, it's a good thing to try out. It's a good thing to know about business. It's a good thing to know how to speak in front of an audience. It's a good thing to know how to do PowerPoint presentations. It's always good to know those kind of things. So you could convince them based on that. But like I said, Ashley gave the best, in my opinion, answer to that because it's FFA, but FA. But if you really want to try and convince them based on that, yeah, that's what I have to say to that.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, earlier, Ashley made a phenomenal point. Sometimes you may want to work with other organizations in your school. Sometimes that's the best option, is trying to work with them, because I can for sure say there's not a single job that FBLA cannot help you with. You will use the skills that you learn in FBLA in everything. Speaking is in everything. Like Amanda said, business is everywhere. Zahra?
Okay, so to continue what Ash was saying, I was just saying, I would say, don't make it seem like it's a either or choice. It's either FBLA, FFA, or what other club. Let them, if they are interested in FFA more than FBLA, don't lose them because of that. Let them know that they can do both, because Ashley's an officer for both, so they can be a member for both and still be dedicated for both. So I would stress the fact that it's not, you don't have to only do one club. You can do multiple clubs, and you can be dedicated to multiple clubs. So don't lose members just for that. So that's one thing I would point out.
Thank you, Zahra. Does anybody else have anything to note before we move to the next question? Okay, we'll go ahead and move along. One thing I would like to say quickly is Max Mitchell, the national president, just shared a link in the chat. This link contains a lot of information that can help you with recruitment. It's also in the bio of this video. So if you, at the end of the video, once it's over, click on the bio, scroll down, it's at the very bottom, and that can help you out. It's a great resource. The question is, how do you plan to work with other states in the southern region to expand membership in Florida and expand membership in the southern region? I'll go ahead and get us started, and then the rest of the officers can answer. One thing that the southern region presidents have already done is we've been working very closely together. We communicate through GroupMe. We share ideas with one another. We're working on a constant basis to make sure that if we ever have an idea, ever a suggestion that our state's doing, we share it with the other states. Keenan, the Southern Region VP, has been doing a phenomenal job of pulling us together and working with us to make sure that everything the national team does, we know about, and we can help to assist the Southern region as a whole. Does anybody else have anything to note on that? Okay, Bruna?
Just really quickly here, we're also going to be launching a new sister chapter program this year that'll help chapters from different states. It helps each other increase membership. We will be launching it sometime soon, hopefully by the end of the month, if not by the beginning of next month. It'll basically be just an online form where if your chapter is interested, you'll be able to sign up, and then the National Center will be partnering you up with a different chapter, hopefully from a different state, if not from your own state, so that there can be cross-state collaboration as well.
That's incredible. Thank you, Bruna. Okay, so the next question is, how do I make our chapter more well-known on social media with all of the administrative obstacles? Would any of you guys like to get us started? Jonathan?
So one of the big things that when I became chapter president, I realized like my chapter's Instagram and the social medias were not on point, and I think that there was like this sort of epiphany that was just like, this needs to change. So I think one of the best way to go is just keep it classy. That's the one thing that the model to live by when it comes to social media. Just pretend like your grandma's watching. And I think that like operating chapter Instagrams is important to go to like everyone in your school basically and start just following who they follow if they go to the school. And I know that I started working on my chapter's Instagram. We had probably like 250 followers, and by the end of, well, it was towards the end of the summer, so I did it at the beginning of the month, and by the time school started, the mid-month, we had already boosted up to like 600 followers. So it's a matter of following, and liking everyone's posts and just being like an active follower through your chapter Instagram, as well as being able to post things that are clean, classy, and very professional. And I think that you also have to highlight the very fun parts of FBLA. I think that if your state has a think back video, kind of save that and post it, and you'll show like your members, this is what FBLA is about. This is how amazing this organization is. I think that it's not just posting. We have a chapter meeting, but also just like showing them like, what do we do in FBLA? If you have any questions about social media, you can contact me at any time. I know Max Mitchell just posted a link on there on the chat so that you can look at that. But I think that in order to really be successful with all the administrative obstacles, you just have to keep it classy and be confident in what you post and be very active.
Superb job, Jonathan. Does anybody else have anything to note? Zahra?
Okay, with this, just last year, my chapter started doing this, getting on Instagram, and I was in charge of that. So I would say start locally, start with your school. We started off by broadcasting our Instagram username through Remind to all our members and to the parents, and just we would post from our conferences, from the district conference, state conference, national conference. We would post the pictures there, so that would attract the members to our Instagram. So we just started locally, and then we started making connections by following other schools from other districts, other states. So we were making connections, having a line of communication. But I would say if you're trying to increase your fellowship, start locally, get it out to your members and to your members' parents. Hey, we have this. You can see pictures. You can see FBLA. Come support our school to show the school spirit, and make connections with other chapters, and then just do as Jonathan said, be an active member, and that can really help grow your social media.
Thank you, Zahra. One more before we go ahead and move on to the next question. When it comes to working with your administration at your school, your principal, your vice principal, try to schedule a meeting and sit down with them. Make sure that they know that FBLA is something big. It'll make their school look better. I know that my principal, Principal Williams, he's an amazing guy, but whenever you bring up an opportunity to make our school look a little bit better, he's always for it. Make sure that you show that FBLA is, like it's been said a couple times tonight, the key to success at certain schools and certain opportunities. Just sit down and talk with your administration, work with them, try to find out a middle point, a meeting place where you guys can find out what you can do when it comes to social media. Okay, so our next question is, what do I do if I have a member that can't afford the dues or can't afford to be in the club? Would you guys like to start us off? Okay, I'll go ahead. Oh, Jonathan.
So I know that when it comes to finances in high school, it's a lot of money that you spend within extracurriculars and other clubs and organizations. So one of the things that I think our chapter does is that whatever money that we have left over off to the side, and someone who's like financially not capable of paying the dues, we understand that, and we basically find a way to figure out like who can we go to, the administration, go to a counselor, someone that can allow us to be able to pay for that member, whether it's us pulling it from our own club funds or us pulling it from the PTSA at our school or some other part of the school itself. So I think overall, just having a big network within your own school and not just outside, I think it's really important to be active with your student government, your PTSA, your administration. That way they know that no matter what, like, you are an organization at the school and that you do good things at the school, not just we're another club that has a meeting once in a while and we don't do anything. Because at the end of the day, like, FBLA does so much more than that. And I think that once you advocate that to your administration and everyone at your school, they will really support you and support whoever is interested in joining the club.
One of the things that our school is doing this year is we've created these for 15 students that, you'd submit an application. We're offering a scholarship that will pay for your dues and some of the things later on in the year. We've been fundraising money. We've worked with the administration to get some of these things to make sure that students that can't necessarily afford can still get these opportunities to be in this amazing organization. Would you guys like to add anything else? I know, Bruna, do you have anything to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I think that when it comes to potential members who can't be able to pay their dues, also having them potentially fundraise for their dues is a really easy way to have them become a member of FBLA. Utilize things like our national partners that can be found on our national website. It's as simple as doing a quick Krispy Kreme donuts fundraiser. If they sell like 2 or 3 boxes, they'll be able to be a member already.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bruna. And Bruna, did you have anything to add about administrations, working with them?
Oh, I just put it on the live chat as well, but I know that my school and my chapter have done a lot of this with social media and working with your administration. I think that definitely building a good relationship with your administration is key, making sure you keep open communication with them, and then always getting everything approved, because when it shows that you care about working well with them and you care about going by the book, then they're more likely to trust you in the future.
Thank you, Bruna. We'll go ahead and move on to the next question. How do you make your local chapters excited and interested for the year to come? Do you use PowerPoints, videos, or word of mouth? Nathan?
Yeah, so basically, at all of our meetings, we have PowerPoints just to make sure that it's easy for the members to get all the information so they know what's coming up. But to keep them interested in coming, at every meeting we have food and snacks. That's honestly one of the biggest ways that we have so many members at the beginning of the year, is because everybody wants to come. And at the end of the meetings, we just have a time where people can socialize so that it's a fun environment while you're also getting all the information. And like Jonathan mentioned earlier, if your state has a think back video, or you have chapter videos, it's a really good way to show them what FBLA is about and show them the really fun side of FBLA. So that's what we try to push, is that it's not only the work, but you also have a lot of fun and make a lot of connections and family.
Thank you, Nathan. I know that you guys have probably all seen Harry Potter. I'm hoping that you guys have all seen Harry Potter. In Harry Potter, there's 4 different houses. Okay, you have Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. One of the things that we're doing this year in our chapter is we're starting a housing system where we're going to have like an opening ceremony where you get put into your house, and it's randomly devised. Each member will earn points for their houses. And at the end, the house that has the most points, by doing FBLA events, going to March of Dimes, Relay for Life, American Cancer Society events, going to competitions, going to conferences, they earn up points for their team. And at the end of the year, whichever house has the most points wins the cup, or it's sort of a little spin to add something fun to the club this year to make it more interesting. Something that, everyone knows about. Everybody knows Harry Potter, hopefully. Would you guys like to add anything? Amanda?
So, Max and Max, sorry, I'm thinking about, Zach and I think Nathan made really good points. Food, great initiative to keep people in your club. And Zach kind of was like getting to my point in the sense that you should make a theme. I don't know if you guys do this, but you should make a theme about your chapter every year. Last year, our theme was Star Wars, obviously. And we did like the First Order versus the Resistance. So we try to keep them in like based on that. This year, our theme is a decade of excellence because our chapter has been active for 10 years. Like we've been in for 10 years. And our shirts this year are going to be based on like Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars is, because I just love that. But anyways, you know me. So we try to keep them in through modern culture and stuff. And obviously, food, great initiative, especially in your general meetings. You want to like keep the hype up. You want to play games at your meetings. You want to obviously show videos. And like I said, food really helps when it comes to that. So yeah, that's one of the ways that's my little take in on that.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
You guys have any other points to make? Okay, we'll go ahead and move to the next question. Many students are hesitant to join FBLA at my school because they feel that they can't make a big commitment. How could we attract motivated students or help students with this fear? Who would like to get us started? Zahra? Okay.
Okay, hi. So with this, I understand because my school, we have some students who are scared to join because they think, oh, FBLA is just this whole time-consuming waste that I shouldn't even join. But that's not true. You have to really show them that it's not true. Don't only show the business aspect, I would say. Show the fun things that you guys do, the bonding activities, the conferences. Don't only show people taking a test, but also show them having fun, going out. Just attract them to that. Just like mixing business with pleasure. We are business leaders, but we also know how to have fun. So I would say attract them to that fun aspect. Be realistic to them. The FBLA is work, and if you want to be a serious member, it will take some time, but at the same time, you can still join FBLA. It doesn't have to be a time-consuming constraint on your schedule, but and you can have fun with it. So I would just say try to stress to them that FBLA isn't something where you're behind a desk for hours just not having fun. Like show them with the visuals, with the videos that Jonathan was saying. His chapter videos are very fun and a great way to represent FBLA. Just show them the mixture of business and pleasure.
Thank you, Zahra. Ashley?
Yes, so we're going to try something new in my chapter this year, and we've created what's called Power Hour. So every other Wednesday, we're going to have an hour in our FBLA classroom where anyone from the like the school or the members can come up and learn a little bit more about FBLA. So our first, I guess, power hour is going to be tomorrow after school, and it's just from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and anyone can come in. We'll have food for them to eat while we give presentations, and we just tell them a little bit about what FBLA is, what it has to offer, like the competitions, BAA awards, volunteer hours. We just trying to give them an hour of FBLA wrapped up in a present. So it just gets people a little bit more interested in what we do, if they want to join our organization, join our club, get involved, and things like that. So that's just something you can add to your organization or to your club or your chapter as a way to get more involvement, even new involvement from students that maybe are freshmen just coming into the high school, don't really know about all the clubs and things like that. Just welcome them in and again, offer them food, treats, things like that. Kids are suckers for food. Trust me, I am. But that's just another way to get people involved.
Thank you, Ashley. Amanda?
So I don't personally think that FBLA is a big commitment, at least like when I joined as an intern, but it always depends on the person that you're trying to recruit for FBLA. If you know that this person is serious about school or academics, you know, you try and convince them through that angle, like, hey, this is really going to help your future, which is absolutely true. FBLA is going to help your future and prepare you, like I already said. But if you're looking at a person who is more looking to join a club for the fun aspect of it, like to do things, to do community service, to have fun with others, then you convince them based on that angle, like Zahra said. You talk about all the fun things FBLA has to offer. One of the things that I like talking about is a state leadership conference. It looks like a concert. If you see it from the Think Back video, you know, you sell it on that, like, hey, you do competition, and if you know, it's basically like a concert and everyone has fun and there's good workshops there. It's gonna be one of the best field trips that you're gonna have through your high school years. Like, I try and convince them based on that. I convince them on social events. Hey, we have many social events every month. We do like karaoke at CC's Pizza. We do ice skating. You convince them through that. And once they join and they start realizing how like FBLA really helps you and how fun it is, and it's not just business, then, you know, you already got them in, and then they convince their friends and so on and so forth. So that's my take on that.
Thank you, Amanda. It sounds like you guys have a lot of fun in Miami.
You know, last week.
Okay. One tip from me that our chapters do, my chapter does, and some of the other chapters in District 1 is we hold multiple meetings so that all members can come to. So say you're in band. You practice every single day after school. To make sure that those band students still have the opportunity, we have morning meetings just for them so they can be updated. We hold committee meetings separate from the regular meetings so you can stay involved whenever it works for your schedule. We added these other opportunities within our chapter so that all members can get this opportunity. You guys have anything else to add? Jonathan?
So for me, I think that when we talk to incoming freshmen through our business academy, the first thing we do is say, okay, welcome to the school, and you're about to have the time of your life if you put yourself into this organization, because we show them the Think Back video. We talk about our own stories and how like FBLA has changed our lives, and then we go straight into competition and think, what do you guys want to do? So there's everything. Like, what's your big interest? And I think that having like upperclassmen feel so open with underclassmen, that kind of creates a relationship that kind of breaks that stereotype that upperclassmen and seniors do not talk to freshmen. I think that me, when I came into high school, like I was already a middle level member, and I was scared that I was going to be like the only freshman who had FBLA experience, but couldn't be talking to anyone because I was a freshman. And it was the complete opposite. And I think that it's really like the chapter officer team's job to have that open environment where anyone can come in and anyone can ask a question. And no matter if you think it's stupid or if like you think it's the best question ever, there's so many ways to get involved with the organization itself that even if a person just wants to go to one community service event a year, or maybe they want to go to every single event, which some members I see almost more than I see myself in the events. I'm like, I didn't even go and you went. So it's really interesting to see how you have members that are not as involved and you have members that are living for the organization. And I think that the two spectrums, especially like having 600 members, you see both sides, and it's just crazy. And for us, I think the way I kind of sway people was like these events that we go to, I think talking about a little bit about Miami. Miami has like the district fall breakfast, which changed my life a little bit because I got hypnotized. And I think that's like a cute little story that I always tell everyone. Like, I got hypnotized at an FBLA conference, and they're like, "What?" And then they're like, "Where can I go to get hypnotized?" And that's kind of like the cool thing that I tell people. But yeah, that's like my little spiel on that.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, before we move on to the next question, I want to give a quick shout out. Just like Jonathan said, there's members that are extremely dedicated. Just this past week and for the past month, people have been contacting me, calling me, trying to find out how they can get more involved in FBLA. And that's just incredible. It's outstanding. It's something that should be applauded. These members are taking out the time because they want to find out more about how they can get involved. Any questions, feel free to contact me. Feel free to contact Zahra, Nathan, Jonathan. I bet Bruno would be willing to help as well. Ashley, Amanda, the entire team, as well as the national team as well. Contact us. We're here to help you. We want to make this the best that it can be for you. Okay, so the next question, I know it's a little bit of a joke. It's kind of funny, and I loved it. It was pretty incredible. It was an amazing question. How does FBLA mix with bumblebees? Now, back at state, I went and talked about bumblebees for a little bit on stage. I think that's just, it's great. Maybe you want to incorporate a theme. It's that fun. That's the fun aspect that everybody's been talking about earlier about within FBLA. Fun within FBLA. It's something exciting. You meet all these new people. You get to joke around. The team this year, we just joke around with each other. We have fun. We enjoy our time, and that's what makes FBLA so special. And quick story, I actually got stung by a bee yesterday. So, yeah. We'll move on. Okay, so do you guys have anything else to add? Zahra?
Well, Zach, if you're going to just do this, you have to show them the comparison of your hands. Come on.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I mean, I feel so bad. We got a text from him saying he got stung by a bee, and I was just laughing so hard. Like, I felt bad, but at the same time, I was like, it's bound to happen.
Zach, your hand looks beautiful.
He was like, "Did you feel his tongue?"
Okay, so we'll go ahead, guys. We'll go ahead and get back to the questions. It's just a little bit of us. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just a little bit of us. Okay, so the next question is, do you guys have any advice on applying for the national councils? Bruna?
Hi guys, we're really excited to announce that National Officer Council applications were open today on the national website. They can be found at go.fbla.org/councils. Having been an applicant, and I also served on 2 past national councils, the best piece of advice I can give you is, like Jonathan said, be yourself, and you can never show too much passion for FBLA in your applications. Talk about how it has impacted you and your story, and also show how you can contribute to making direct changes to our organization. That's what we want to see in the councils. Literally, as a national council member, you get to make things and you get to create things that members will see directly and utilize directly. So show us, what do you think we can change in our organization? How can you help benefit the association as a national organization and our membership?
Thank you, Bruna. That's advice that you can only get from the one and only national secretary. Jonathan?
So I kind of said this in the comments, and Bruno kind of talked about it, but it's important to be yourself, but also be very professional. I think that national officers, it doesn't matter what your position is, if they see that drive and dedication, they would love to have you on board. I think that really show that in your supplements, that if you're not a state officer and if you're a chapter officer, say like how much this organization means to you. And if you're really dedicated and they see that in your supplement, I for sure believe that they'll call you in for an interview. I think that just being very passionate about what you're doing is very important in the organization, especially at the national level. When you become a council member, I think that you need that drive, and you need to be able to say, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. What can we do to make things easier for you at the national level? And I think that speaks volumes to how dedicated the membership is in this organization.
Thank you, Jonathan. You just got to show that you care. That's the main thing. Make sure that You know, the national officers know that you're ready to work, you're dedicated and willing to do your best. Do you guys have anything else to add? Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. How do we get middle schools in our area involved? I'll go ahead and get us started, and then we'll move to the next officers. One thing that you can do is invite middle schoolers to your chapter meetings. Invite them to some of your chapter meetings. Kind of guide them through it, mentor it. There's an amazing program, the Adopt a Chapter program, that kind of works on this. It stresses this, having older schools adopt a newer school. Try to bring the middle schoolers in, make them feel like they're welcomed. You know, sometimes it's kind of overwhelming to start something new, brand new at your school. So if you help them, you guide them and try and show them, you know, go to the website, show them where they can sign up, teach them the ropes of everything, show them how they can get things started, give them advice, mentor them. It really helps, and it'll really make sure that these middle schoolers are getting involved just by inviting them. So next meeting, get some middle schoolers, invite them to your meeting, show them what FBLA is all about. Okay, does anybody else have something to add? Zahra?
Okay, so just as Zach was saying, not only should you invite them, you should go visit them. Personally, I was a middle level member, and one thing that was great about my middle school, it's only about 5 minutes from my current high school. So Lakewood FBLA was kind of associated with Bay Point Middle School, so we were connected through that. So that connection helped me continue my FBLA career. So I would say if you have impact on that middle schooler while they're in middle school, they'll remember that, and that will help them and increase your membership. So it's a win-win situation. You improve their FBLA experience and you increase your membership. So, you know, go visit them, be at their orientations, be at their club fairs, you know, go to one of their meetings, give them suggestions, you know, invite them to even a social event. You know, imagine at karaoke, a little middle schooler singing, because they're so adorable sometimes. But either way, don't be pedophile. Okay, but yeah, go visit them. That was what I would suggest. But yeah.
Thank you, Zahra. Does anybody else have anything to add? Jonathan?
I think that also, I think middle schoolers have like this constant fear of like teenagers, I don't like them. So I think that if your district, I think I would advocate for your district to have events that are together. I think that's super important. I think District 26 in Florida, which is my district and Amanda's district, we have this thing that we do everything together. So our district fall breakfast, our award ceremonies, everything's are all together. So they kind of have the experience of I'm in the same room with 600 other high schoolers, and that's cool. I remember when I was in middle school, I sat on like the middle level side, and I was like super hyped up with all the high schoolers on the other side. And then when I became a high schooler, I would look towards the middle level side and I say, that's cool. Like I used to be there, and now I'm here. I think it's really important to have that continuity and know like this is always going to be a place you can come to for help or be a way to get involved with your school.
Jonathan. And one big thing is maybe you want to work with the district. You can always try set up events with other chapters. Try to bring in everyone from the community. I know that Amanda and Jonathan, a lot of people in Miami, they're so close because they come together as a district. Try to make sure that your district is coming together. They're one and the same. District 1, we've been growing close. We're actually having a FBLA Battle of the Bands competition later this year where we're going to have the different chapters in our district. Have little fun events like that. Make it interesting, you know. Draw people in. FBLA has so many opportunities for every single person. It's in everything. You guys have anything else to add? Bruna?
Yeah, just really quickly, I wanted to emphasize what Zahra said. Visiting them is always really, really important, especially if it comes to that your goal when interacting with middle schools is to help increase your membership later on in high school, because when they see you and they see FBLA, and then when they go on to high school and they see someone they recognize, then they're going to be more likely to join FBLA in our organization. And sometimes if your goal is to charter a middle level chapter and you're not able to do that within 1 year, start off small, just building that connection, start visiting them, build that connection with the administration as well, because then later on that could lead to chartering a middle level chapter.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bruna. Okay, so I don't see any more questions, so we'll go ahead and move to the last section. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to contact us. Our contact information is in the description. And remember to subscribe. Every single month we'll be doing these webinars and we're posting more stuff to help you out. Last part. Before we go, would each officer like to share one thing that kind of goes with work-life balance, something that can help you, that's helped you in the school year to get through school and balance FBLA? Zahra, would you like to get us started?
Okay, one thing I would say with time management and having an agenda, don't book yourself from morning to night. Always leave an hour or two spare just in case something goes overtime or something. You don't want to have your schedule so tight there's no room for wiggle, because you can't plan everything, you know. I like to say the one quote when they say God laughs when people make plans. So just make sure you always have that wiggle room, and that will help you with your stress. So if something goes overtime, you're not it's not too much of a hassle for you.
Thank you, Zahra. We'll now let our, before we go any further, we'll let our two IB guys go ahead and tell us what they do, and then I'll put in my point as well. Jonathan?
So I think living by the wiggle motive is the best, honestly. I think that having so many, like, it's a balance between having the hard schedule and also having like a very flexible area, because there's times that I'm like, oh, okay, I have a free lunch this time, like this one day out of nowhere, and then everything goes wrong and I have to run back to the FBLA room and be like, what's going on? So I think that overall just be very flexible at the same time as being very organized. One thing that I did is that as things started piling up this year with IB and like running for state office and budgeting nationals and everything, I had like this one binder, like this one, I actually have one right here. I have like one of these spirals that like have like the nice plastic cover where it's like very durable, and like every page had like a to-do list for every period of my day, and like there was a section for FBLA, there was a section for IB. So as things would go on, I would just highlight it, and then once I would highlight everything, I would start a new page. And it was very helpful because I would just carry this around, and I also had like this bright green binder that had like holds everything that's like very generalized in my school. Like, so I have my school schedule, I have the FBLA map with the region stuff, I have the time schedule, and then inside I have a bunch of things that like have to do with, well, schoolwork for the day, or like things that are FBLA related. And I think that overall, like, that helped me be very organized. So yeah.
Jonathan. Nathan?
I think one of the biggest things for me, at least, is just trying to be as realistic as possible, because I know that sometimes you think, okay, I'm going to plan out the day. As soon as I get home, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But if you're like me, you don't really stick to that schedule. You try to fill in and get as many things done as possible, but you're not always going to do it. So like I said, always just having that free time and being able to just go somewhere and do something, I think that's really helpful. And like Zahra said, just don't plan everything back to back. Be able to be flexible with your time.
Thank you, Nathan. Amanda?
I'm going to be very honest. It really depends how much time you dedicate yourself to FBLA. If you're a gold member and you're doing competition, it's really not that much. You just dedicate your time to competition and you work your schedule around that. If you're an officer in FBLA, it's probably going to be more time consuming, especially some people have a job. Some people are taking very advanced classes, and some people have to make time for their school schedule. Something that I know that I'm going to try to do this year is, especially if you're an officer of your chapter, you need to be able to rely on your team. I know that this can be difficult for some people, but it's very important to rely on your team, because let's face it, you're going to be busy. You're not going to be able, sometimes you can't plan things out, you know, things don't go as planned, and you're going to have to rely on some people to help you. Teamwork is so important when it comes to this kind of thing. And once you have a reliable team to help you out with some of the tasks that you may not be able to complete, you're good to go. You know, like I said, if you're just a member, trust me, it's not going to be that time consuming. It's just, you know, just a little bit of your time. But yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Amanda. Ashley, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, this is kind of like a simple thing, but this really keeps me in line, is syncing all of your calendars. So I have 2 different computers and a cell phone and a tablet, and every single one of them have the same calendar. So whether I'm on my phone, whether I'm on my tablet or one of the computers, I always have my calendar pulled up and everything's in there. And so that just kind of keeps me in line, keeps me straight, because it doesn't matter where I am, who I'm with, I always have my day planned out and things that I have to do that day.
Thank you, Ashley. one tip from myself is make sure you stay organized. Pre-plan as much as you can. If you pre-plan, it makes it easier to be flexible. Bruno, would you like to add anything before we go?
Sure. I think that when it comes to having a work-life balance, the biggest thing that you can rely on is your network, making sure that you're flexible with them and that you're willing to help them out when it comes to their work-life balance so that they're going to be willing to help you out. I know that being a national officer does take up a lot of time, as well as being a local chapter officer and an area officer and having been a state officer last year. So just make sure you keep the open communication with them, even on your personal life. Also make sure that you have some time to yourself. Hanging out with your friends is very important, and your family. So just make sure you pre-plan as much as possible so that way you can completely maximize your schedule, but also be flexible with it.
Thank you, Bruna, and thank you for joining us tonight and sharing some incredible information. Thank you all for joining us. We're excited that you were here to get some advice. Remember, if you ever have any questions, just feel free to contact us. And enjoy the start of your school year. That's a Zach fact. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.